Hey vinyl community, Brian again, Gibson A9 on YouTube, back again for another installment of the journey through my progressive rock vinyl collection. Hope you've been enjoying it. Last video we went from the L's about halfway through the M's. There's a whole bunch of M's, so I broke them up. So today we're doing the rest of the M's. Some really good stuff in here today. Some classic albums, a lot of gatefold albums. Are y'all a fan of gatefolds? I mean, I'm almost disappointed when I find an old album maybe from the early 70s and it's not a gatefold. I guess gatefolds maybe were more popular from what? In the maybe 73 to 76 or 77. I don't know. Somebody tell me how that works. But I love gatefold albums. Just you get to open it. There's more artwork on the inside. Thicker spine, you know, you look there on your shelf, you can actually read the spine. Gatefolds are where it's at. So some good stuff today, and we have a lot of it. So let's get started, shall we? So the first one, this is another Italian Prog classic reissue that I've just recently gotten. Look at that. Awesome. Maxophone. Maxophone, this is classic Italian Prog, ranked right up there with the best of them. And this is a reissue on AMS. AMS has got a lot of great Italian Prog on their label. So to open it up fully, Maxophone. This is just great stuff. 1975. They did have some saxophone in their music, and that's the name, I guess. But just some good complex Prog music. And there's the inside gatefold. I've seen one copy of this at a record show nearby, and the guy wanted $150 for it. It was an original pressing of Maxophone from Italy. So you probably won't find one of those, but you can order this through, I believe the website is forcedexposure.com. Forcedexposure.com has Maxophone as well as a lot of the other great AMS Italian Prog releases. So next one is not really progressive rock, but it's included in the progressive section because of, and you guessed it, a killer Roger Dean sleeve, McKendree Spring Suite. Look at that. Look at that Dean cover. Is that not amazing? Looks like little mushrooms or some kind of caves or something. I don't know what it is, but I love the back, these sharp angled rocks on there. So this is probably one of my all-time favorite Roger Dean covers. That's just amazing artwork. The colors there, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. So even on the inside, you know. If I were in a progressive rock band back in the 70s, I would have paid whatever it took to get old Roger to paint my album cover. You know, I mean, that's just, whoo, love it. Okay, the next couple are not technically progressive rock, but they're in the section because they have Moog synthesizers. So there's a lot of Moog stuff out there, and I don't generally collect Moog albums because a lot of them are just kind of cheesy uses of zippy Moog sounds, you know, buzzy synthesizer noises. But this one's kind of a classic. I've seen this online. This is Moog Power by Hugh Montenegro. Just, you know, goofy album cover, wild synthesizer sounds, you know. So Hugh Montenegro, Moog Power, and this was 1969. So this was actually, didn't realize that, this is actually before what we would consider the classic uses of the Moog. This is before Lucky Man, for goodness sake. So I did not realize that. Hugh Montenegro from 1969 playing the Moog. The next one, this is not alphabetically in order. I just stuck it next to the other one because it's more Moog stuff. Ralph Carmichael presents the Electric Symphony, the Moog synthesizer. And this also is from, well, I don't think it says, but this has got to be pretty darn old as well, just judging by the look of the back there. You know, it says stereo, and So that's got to be probably late 60s or very, very early 70s as well. So, all right, on to the Moody Blues. A lot of Moody Blues albums. You'll see them in record stores and all. This is one of my favorite groups. I had never heard the Moody Blues much. In college, I took a road trip. I went to Virginia Tech, and we took a road trip to University of Virginia in Charlottesville, and I rode back with the guy. I didn't even know the guy very well, but he had a tape on in his car of the Moody Blues, Best of the Moody Blues, or This is the Moody Blues. And I remember it was nighttime, just looking out the window at the stars, and that music I just loved it. I said, man, I got to figure out what this stuff is. So over the years, I've collected pretty much all the Moody Blues albums, so we'll start from the beginning. This was before they really started doing what we would call progressive rock. This is Go Now, the Moody Blues #1. They hit it big with a song called Go Now, which is kind of 60s pop. And this is the album, I guess it came out in the US on London Records. Also available in mono, so this is a stereo copy. But it's a full album, featuring one of the songs is Go Now, which they hit big with, I guess, before this came out. So reissue on London. But this is their seminal, groundbreaking album right here, and this is amazing. This stands the test of time today. If you want to listen to a good progressive album, Days of Future Past by the Moody Blues from 1967. Some people would argue that this is the first progressive rock album. Others would say it would be the Beatles. But this is truly rock music combined with classical music. So a lot of passages in here have string sections, and just sounds like you're listening to an orchestra, and then it'll come in with a beat, and but very well done. And most of you would know the song Nights in White Satin, which is the closer for this album right here. Days of Future Past, amazing album. So that's what I would call the first of 7 albums in a row that are kind of the golden 7 from the Moody Blues. So if you don't have them, if you're collecting Moody Blues, these are the 7 you really need to get. Days of Future Past being the first. The next one, In Search of the Lost Chord. How's that for a psychedelic looking album cover there? In Search of the Lost Chord. And the guys, so here they are, they're labeled here. Let's see if I can get that in the picture. John Lodge, bass player. Mike Pinder did, I guess, a lot of the flute work and spoken word. He was kind of a poet. Justin Hayward, the incredible smooth voice lead singer and guitar player, also excellent. He can play good lead guitar. I'm sorry, Mike Pinder, I think, was the keyboard player. Ray Thomas did the spoken word and the flute, and then Graham Edge, the drummer. So most of those guys are not, I think now when they tour it's Justin Hayward and John Lodge and maybe Graham Edge is left. But Ride My Seesaw is on here, Legend of a Mind, Voices in the Sky, The Actor, The Word, and So this is, this is kind of in the freaky days of the 60s there. That was probably, what, 68 maybe? Somewhere in that range. That's on Durham Records or London, so third in their series of 7. It's classic. This is not a very good condition copy. On the Threshold of a Dream. Another great album cover. These are all gatefold albums. In the Beginning, Lovely to See You, Dear Diary, Never Comes the Day, The Dream and Have You Heard, and The Voyage. These are all just incredible classic. Very heavy on Mellotron back in this point. Just soaked in Mellotron. Just phenomenal sounding. They had a great mellow sound to them that I don't think anyone else captured. Next would be the Moody Blues, To Our Children's Children's Children. Wonderful album cover there as well. Cave painting artwork. This is on London. And again, no year on here. I'm thinking this is probably 69 or 70. Next one in the series, they had some just great album artwork here. Question of Balance by the Moody Blues. And I'll flip that around. That's wonderful. The song Question and the Tide Rushes In is a great song. Dawning is the Day, Melancholy Man. Just such wonderful melodies. They were great melody writers, the Moody Blues. Question of Balance. And that's from... Oh heck, I just need to stop trying to say when they're from because none of them say on the side. Oh well. But we're talking 70 to 73 probably for all of these. But the Moody Blues, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor, which those of you who are musicians will know is a mnemonic. It's a device to remember E, G, B, D, F, which are the spaces, I guess, in the staff. Is that right? No. It would be the lines of the staff starting from the lowest. E, G, B, D, F. So, I think I got that right. Back cover. This is on Threshold. So the Moody Blues put out their own record label called Threshold, and this is the first one on that. But The Story in Your Eyes, Nice to Be Here, wonderful album. And the final of the 7, appropriately entitled Seventh Sojourn. Kind of a purplish album cover there. For My Lady is a great song. Isn't Life Strange? And the one you've all probably heard, I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. Again, all gatefold albums. Okay, this is 1972. So those 7 albums were all put out between 67 and 72. Just an incredible period of output for the Moody Blues. So after that, they kind of went, I guess, into a slump. I don't remember if they broke up or had some personnel changes. So they did a lot of greatest hits type things. This, if you want to get one record from a store to understand the Moody Blues, this would be the one. It's called This Is the Moody Blues. And you can see they're lined up in a row, are all 7 of their classic releases. And this is the one that was playing in the car when I came back from University of Virginia and just fell in love with this band. Just very peaceful. I guess the Mellotron helps with that, but very serene sounding. And they could rock it out too, but this is great. It's a double record set, 4 full sides of the best of the Moody Blues. Next one is similar, but this is the Moody Blues Caught Live +5. Excellent, excellent live album. This is the one to get if you want to hear the Moody Blues and what they sounded like back in the day live. So this came out in 77, so it's still the full band together playing essentially a lot of the same songs that were on that greatest hits set. So really, the last, I think this is the only time in our video series where we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 records in a row that are all gatefold. So they knew how to package their stuff, the Moody Blues. 9 in a row here. Well, 9, 10, 11. 11 in a row. Anyway, Moody Blues Octave came out a little bit later. This is from 78, I believe. Yeah, 78. Octave by the Moody Blues. And this had a hit, I believe. Maybe not. I think this one didn't really come out with a hit on it. But the one after did. The one after was Long Distance Voyager. And they kind of got a little bit of airplay from this album. Love this album cover. Voyager, and again I've showed this in another video, but if you zoom in here you can see the up in the sky there, very light, the Voyager spacecraft sort of floating by. But Voyager had The Voice, Gemini Dream, I think were the 2 that kind of became radio hits there from 1981, Long Distance Voyager. The next one I don't really remember that much. It's The Present by the Moody Blues, and that's a classic album cover, and I forget the name of the painter, from, I guess it was the 20s, that painted in this style. So that's kind of a copy of that style. They probably credit the guy here. Yes, with all respect for Maxfield Parrish. So Maxfield Parrish was the painter that painted in that style. It's kind of what they went for there. But if I recall, there was a hit or a song that hit the radio from this. Maybe not. Not one that I remember anyway. So that one's kind of obscure. And the final Moody Blues album, I think that they did. Well, that's not true. I guess I'm missing one. But Moody Blues Sur la Mer, On the Sea in French. Sur la Mer came out in 1988. And it had I Know You're Out There Somewhere. But right before this was another album that they put out, whose name escapes me, but I went and saw them on that tour, and that was the one that had In My Wildest Dreams. I don't know if you remember that song. It was poppy by that point. It wasn't really prog anymore. But I saw them on that tour, and they put on a phenomenal show. That was probably about in '87, maybe. And on the back cover here, they say, it's now 21 years since we first heard Days of Future Past. So they've been around a long time. Justin Hayward's voice is just as good now as it ever was, just pure and smooth. So if you ever get a chance to see the Moody Blues live, go ahead and do it. All right, we talked a little bit before about Main Horse and Patrick Moraz and how he played in Yes, and then he became the keyboard player for the Moody Blues for a while. And his solo album that he put out in 1975, when all the Yes guys were taking a break, he had just played on Relayer by Yes, but this is Patrick Moraz, The Story of I. And that's supposed to look like the letter I guess, but hello. Patrick Moraz, The Story of I. And this is a really good album. Of all the Yes guys when they did their solo albums, so Chris Squire had Fish Out of Water, John Anderson had Olis of Sunhillow, Patrick Moraz with The Story of I. This has got some really good keyboard work on it. It's definitely worth a listen. So again, if you see a copy of that, it's a good one to pick up. Alright, last album in the M's of the progressive rock, and this is another Italian Prog reissue. This is a great album cover here. This is Murple, and the name of the album was Io Sono Murple, or My Name is Murple in Italian. This is great stuff. I really like the sound of this. Kind of a bizarre concept album. Let me take it out of the sleeve here. Get some of that glare off of there. First of all, it's just a iconic, classic album cover. But oddly enough, you know, this is a concept album about a penguin, I guess, named Murple, and his adventures or something. So it's kind of a naive, you know, cute concept. It's none of this real heavy stuff. But the music is excellent. The music, you know, you can't understand what they're saying in Italian anyway, so, you know, it could be a concept album about anything. But it is about a penguin named Murple. But don't let that stop you. This is good stuff. Good Italian prog right here. You can find it. Go ahead and Google or go to YouTube and look up Murple and listen to some of the tracks that are posted there. There's a few of them out there. Incredible stuff, and that's why I ordered it. Just like we saw before with Maxophone, this is on AMS. So this is great. And as an added bonus, this is let's see if I can get the green vinyl copy of this. I don't know if you can see that that's green or not, but the first few hundred, I guess, were printed in green vinyl. So that's the M's. I guess M is probably about halfway through the alphabet, but we've got some more. I'm not going to get that back in there. We've got some more work to do to get to the end of this collection. So thank you guys for hanging in there. This has been kind of a long video here, but what's up next? N. So Nectar, just thinking off the top of my head. The Nice with Keith Emerson. Some other good stuff coming up in N. So N and maybe O next time. So hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying your videos, and Rob Paniques in particular. Rob always posts some really cool comments on the videos, reminiscing a little bit about some of the bands that I'm listing that he saw live in concert back in the day. Rob, I'm jealous. I was about 10 years too late on that, so keep posting them. I'm interested in that stuff. That's the dialogue thing here that we're going for, right? So thank you guys. Enjoyed it and have a good weekend.